guys, it's Danae, and this is the third video in my travel series, which means that the day this is going up, hopefully if all goes well in future Danae's life, that the day this goes up will be the day I am starting to travel back to the States. Regardless, I'm going to tell you what I plan on reading on the flights and while I'm gone. By the time this video goes up, hopefully these will already have been read, but currently I'm doing this ahead of time. Obviously, they have not been read yet. Alright, so number one, most importantly, is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. It came out, today is May 7th, and so it came out 4 days ago, May 3rd, and I'm like really want to read it. I've actually listened to all of her books on audiobook. The narrators that she has are awesome. And so I kind of wanted to start listening to that the next 2 weeks that I'm working before I leave, but I'm waiting, and I'm going to read it when I go. Probably, I should say that when I travel, especially when I'm going for this long, if I'm just going for a week or two, I'll pack like regular books, but since I'm going to be gone for 13 days, and I only can take carry-ons with me, I didn't want to fill them up with books because I'm one of those readers that I get anxious and I need like backup books, so I would bring probably the 2 books I would read, but then I would also need to bring like 2 backup books so it didn't run out of things to read. So I just travel with my Kindle. I like the Kindle. I do prefer physical books, but when I'm traveling, the Kindle serves me just fine. So I pre-ordered the Kindle copy. I don't know why I pre-ordered it, like they're not going to run out of Kindle copies, but I pre-ordered it, so I already have it on my Kindle, and so that is the first book that I'm going to read. I'm kind of hoping I can get a good chunk of it done on the way there. It's about like 30 hours of travel, but we'll see how much I'm sleeping. Yeah, Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I have on Kindle the whole trilogy. I tend to not like to marathon books back to back, but so I'm going to try to read the first one next, the Mistborn after I read A Court of Mist and Fury, depending on how I'm feeling, because I think I don't know, I just think those types of books will be good for while I'm gone. So that's the second one, and then the third one is, let's see if it's on here. Oh, it's called A Few of the Girls. It's a book of short stories by Mae Finchie that actually just came out recently. She passed away a couple years ago, I think in 2013, but since then her husband and I guess family have been publishing some of her short stories and collections, and so I'm going to read those. I think those will be good, especially since this is a collection of stories. Like if I'm not feeling another fantasy right after A Court of Mist and Fury, I could read like 1 or 2 of those before I start Mistborn. Or if you're just kind of like not in the mood to like diving into a whole book, it's good to have some short stories that you can read, so you can kind of just commit to a shorter amount of time. So I'm excited about those. I didn't even know about them until today, so that's why I just bought them. There's still a couple of her books that I haven't read. I've read most of them. I haven't read the last few that probably have come out since like between 2007 and 2013. I think there's 2 or 3 that I haven't read. And then there's another collection of short stories that came out after she passed, which I haven't read either. I've just kind of been in this like fantasy kick, and I love her books. She's probably my favorite author. But I just have like not been in the mood for that type of book. Kind of as a backup book, I have quite a few on here. I always have like the second Mistborn book if I'm feeling up to back-to-backing them. That's what you call it. If I feel up to reading them back to back, but usually I don't. Especially if I'm reading it. Audiobooks while I'm driving at work is a little different because I tend to like read in like short little like 20-minute spurts or listen while I'm driving, and so I don't notice it as much because it's not like I'm spending hours at a time in a day reading, and so I kind of get a little sick of it and need to change, but we'll see. So it's Prodigy, which is the second book in the Legend series by Marie Lu. I read Legend, I think it was last year, and I wanted to read the second one, but I listened to the first one and I really like the narrator, and so sometimes when I start listening to a book series, I like to finish by listening to it rather than reading it, because then it kind of like messes up the voices that I'm hearing in my head as I read it, since I'm used to that person reading it to me. But the first book, I bought the Kindle book, and then you're able to buy the narration for like $3 or $4. And the second one, like, the narration hasn't come down. It's still like $16 as like the reduced price if you own. It's still like fairly expensive if you own the book, and since I own the book, I don't want to spend that much on the audiobook. So that's like my backup book if I'm not feeling the other ones, or if I do read all of them. I probably won't read that many. We're going to be pretty busy, but I like to just have books, especially for the travel times. So yeah, so those are the 4 books that are on my TBR. Really only 3 in a backup. A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, A Few of the Girls by Mae Finchie, and then Prodigy by Mary Lou. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment below with some of the books that you like to read while you're traveling, or the types of books that you like to read while you're traveling, and if you bring books or a Kindle, or if you feel compelled to bring several backup books like I do. And I will see you in my next video once I'm back in the States. Bye!